Welcome to toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi, and in today's video we're going to be heading back down into the sewers to make another cape, and this time it is for Master Splinter. I recently did a video showing you how to make the cape for Shredder, and loads of people got in touch with me after that video saying, can I do Splinter next, because everybody seems to have a version of Splinter with the cape missing. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. Let's get on with the project. And here we go. So here is my Splinter figure. I do immediately have to say a massive thank you to Martin, who very kindly traded this with me. So many people got in touch with me about doing a cape for him. I thought I'd better grab one as soon as I can. He's actually a pretty reasonable looking figure even without the cape on. I've got the bow here with him. He's supposed to come with a little cane as well, but yeah, without the cape he's not a bad looking figure, but the cape really does make him look like he should do. So first thing we need to do is work out how to make a pattern, and again I have to say a massive thank you to Nick Action Pop Dad, who very kindly took the cape off his Splinter figure and took some photos of it with a ruler next to it, and using those I can take those images into Photoshop and we can generate a pattern. So let's go into Photoshop and get this pattern made. So after about 10 minutes work, this is the pattern that I've managed to make, and I've now printed this out onto some just plain printer paper. On the back of this I've now stuck some double-sided sticky tape, so we need to cut this pattern out, then we can choose some fabric and get cutting that out as well, and that will be the basic cape made. So let's get these bits cut out. So now we've got the pattern cut out, we can sort out the fabric, and the fabric I'm going to be using is this, which is called toy knit or looped fleece. It's the same sort of material that they made Jedi era Star Wars figure capes out of, and it's really nice and easy to work with. This colour is possibly a little bit too vibrant, but it's the only pink that I could get, and I think it will work pretty well by the time that it's on Splinter. You get this from a place called AliExpress. I'll put a link to that in the description, and it is the same material that I used to create Shredder's cape. You can see here, and I think that one actually ended up looking really nice. So what we've got to do is stick this pattern onto here and cut it out. As I showed, there's double-sided tape on the back of this, so I'm just going to remove the backing from the tape, and then I'm going to stick this onto my trousers a few times just to remove some of the stickiness, because you don't want it to be too sticky when you stick it onto this material, and then we can cut that out as well. So let's get cutting again. Before we remove the pattern from the fabric, we actually need to also do a cut here on this little T marking. And to do that, I'm going to use a scalpel and a ruler. This is where Splinter's head pops through, so we need to cut it as neat as possible, and it will be just very easy to do with a scalpel and a ruler. So let's get this bit cut as well. There we go. Now we can take the pattern off and we should end up with the perfect piece of cape material there. Like that. Now that that's all cut out, we can test it on the figure, and the way it goes on is his head goes through this little T piece here, the little T cut, so that should fit like that, and then everything else just sort of wraps around. So we've got these bits that sort of flap under his arms, and they should sort of hit about there. Same on the other side. Let me just move his arm out. And then this front flap just sort of hangs down and holds everything in place. Well, it should hold everything in place because he's supposed to have a belt on. I don't actually have a belt for this figure, but I'm going to do exactly the same thing that I did with Shredder, and I'm going to make my own belt using some elastic. So let's make something that holds this cape in place. Now, to make the belt, I've got this flat black elastic, which is about 6mm across. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap that around his body so that we can work out how sort of long a piece that we need to do. I will cut a piece of that off, and then I'm going to use some of this ribbon to make the little pieces that sort of look like it's tied around his waist. So we're going to have a little V-shaped piece that will stick at the front, and I think that should end up looking really nice. So let's get cutting and sewing and make old Splinter a belt. So we've now got the cape and we've now got my little handmade belt. We can put everything together and see how Splinter looks fully dressed up.
P-O-Y, P-O-L-L-O-I.
And there we go, here is the finished Splinter figure with his new cape and belt in place. The capes really do make a big difference on these figures. They just look a bit plain and a bit sort of unfinished without them. And the belt, although it's not like the original, made out of plastic, this bit of elastic with a few bits of ribbon on the front really does make quite a big difference. And in time, maybe I will find an original belt that I can swap in. But for the moment, this guy is now ready to go back on display. And if you want to make this cape for your own Splinter figure, then head on over to toy-polloi.com. You'll be able to download the pattern for this and also the pattern for the Shredder figure that I've shown you in a previous video. So if you've enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to be notified each time I upload a new video. And if you've really enjoyed it, then why not think about supporting the channel by becoming a Patreon or YouTube channel member. You get early access to all of my restoration videos and also access to an exclusive series called On the Cutting Mat. So have a think about that, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching Toy-Polloi. Subscribe for more great videos.